This is the backtesting session for trading gold. I'll be trading gold from 9th of Feb until 13th of Feb, which is last week. I'll be showing you the trades where I entered in those trades, where I exited, what was the risk management plan, and how things could have been better. So I usually focus on pre-London, post-London, pre-New York, and post-New York times. So I'm going to do the same here. So let's just start. So going to the 1 hour time frame, let me just move forward. This is the pre-London time. Let me just make the support and the resistance zones. On the 4 hour, I could see that there is a very clear resistance right here and a support right around here. Going to the 1 hour, let me just refine it. Maybe it was 15 minutes, and I think this one is perfect right here. All right. Yeah, this seems fine. So as you could see that gold has already moved quite a lot, and this could have been a better entry, but since it wasn't my time to trade, so I missed this move, but it's okay. So this is 29x. Okay, let's just forward this one. Nothing, although it has lost the volume to go up, but I'm not really sure what's going to happen. It's just my analysis. It did come down. Okay, that's fine. Still nothing. Now this is the start of pre-London session. Yep. Now 30 minutes to London open, and price has created a support right here, and there's no upper wick, so I'm not really sure how it's gonna move, and I don't usually take trade in the first minute. Okay, let's go back to 30 minutes. Let's see how it goes. So nothing is there. So now it's kind of consolidating because the candle is printing green, red. So 30-minute is consolidating, but on the 1 hour, I could see that it has made a reasonable support. So if I just forward this one here, let's see what's happened. Yeah, nothing, nothing for me. Yep, it's now consolidating on 1 hour as well. So I'm just gonna move this session to pre-New York, which is around here. So now this is the start of pre-New York. Okay, nothing. Now one thing that you need to focus is that it has lost the volume to go down because the candle were printing, like this was a bigger candle. Now this is the relatively smaller candle, and now this one is uh, going to print. Okay, so now this is New York Open, and now I could see that on the support that I have placed, it has created a bullish candle, and this bullish candle is bigger than the previous candle. On top of that, it is New York Open, so my bias is that if the candle breaks this high, I can trade and execute my trade and go for the long position. And this is the closest resistance that I have right around here. Perfect. 1 minute has passed, so once it breaks the high of this candle, I can execute a buy right here with 1.5% risk. If I take a buy right here, my stop loss goes somewhere around here, 77 pips, which is just okay. Probably I think I just did the same thing when I was executing the trade, and you could see in the short videos that I took this trade. Okay, now if I just go to the 15 minutes, most probably. Yep. So now you could see that it has made 2.84%, but I did not take 2.8%. I think I secured around 1.5%. I got out a bit early because it was the start of the week. But like this the reason for this backtesting session is that you can see what mistakes you did and how you can improve in the future when you trade in the real market conditions. So I might exit right here, and I would be done for Monday. So moving forward, now it has created on the 30 minutes. I could move the resistance right here, as it has created resistance, and it's kind of in a very consolidated range. Although the range is quite huge, but still like it's in the middle of a range. So now this is the New York Stock Exchange open. The subsequent candle that I am about to open, this one. So there could be like as you could see from the previous analysis that we did, that this was a huge candle, and then followed by this was a smaller candle. And now if you want to take an impulse entry right around here, and the range is pretty good, around 100 pips, and you could keep the stop loss right here. So you could have, I mean, a reasonable trade. But since I already made the profit for the day, uh, I did not execute it on this one, and I just let it go. Yep, right here. Yep. So I think it did come down to it did touch the resistance level, and then it came down. And yeah, let's just move forward now. It's like kind of within the range. All right. So now moving forward, going to Tuesday, same time, pre-London. Now what I could see is that on the 1 hour, I could see a resistance right here. And let's just bring the support up somewhere around here. Let's see what happened on the 30 minute. 30 minutes is fine. So it's 15 minutes. So it's all good. But there's literally no range. So there's no point of trading at this on this candle. So moving forward, 1 hour. Now one could argue that it has made a lower low, and there is a possibility if the trade could go down, since it's a open of the pre-London. So I'm not really sure. I'm not confident with this trade. Even if it goes down, I'm not really sure. Yeah, it did go down, but like I was not comfortable with this one. All right, let's see. Uh, okay, so the H1 candle closed with a huge wick to the downside and a small body to the upper side, which is also engulfing the candle, the 1 hour candle, which was like prior to this candle. But still, like, since although it's London open, but like there's no range. I mean, the resistance is right above 20 pips, so there's no point of taking a buy right here. So I think I'll just let this one go. Okay, now let's just put another resistance right here. Let's see what's happening on 30 minutes and on the 1 hour. 30 minutes and 15 hours. 15 minutes, sorry. Right here. Perfect. Yep. So now, since I have already seen that the strongest resistance is going to be at 5197, and there is a possibility of getting into a buy, although it's like post London session. So I think yeah, they like you could take a trade here. It's all good because on the 4 hour you could see that it created a wake and it's going up. It could go till this level on the 1 hour. Uh, on the one eye on the 30 minutes it's right on the support, but like you can still take a trade once it breaks the wicks of this of the previous candles, and like there's a possibility to take a trade, but still I'm not confident with this one, so uh, I'm gonna let this one go as well, and let's see how it goes. Okay, so uh, yeah, it did go around 100 pips, but like still I wasn't confident with this one. Anyways, moving forward, going to pre New York. Now, let's just fix the support and the resistance levels. Okay. Now, since like this is the start of the pre-New York Open, the candle, the 15-minute candle has a huge wick to the downside, but it came up. The 15-minute has no wick to the downside, and it's a engulfing candle. Engulfing candles are the one which are bigger when the bigger as compared to the previous candles. And on the 30-minute, as I said, that it created a huge wick and then it came up. So like all the indicators are saying that it could be a good buy provided that the candle creates a wick and then it goes up. So let me just slow down the speed and let's see how it goes. Yep, so it has created a wick now. Still waiting. I don't take usually trades in the first minute. Now 1 minute has passed. If it breaks the high of this one, I might get into a buy. Yep, now right here. All right, now let's just 1.5 is fine. So here, put the stop loss at 57 pips, and let's see how it goes. Increasing the speed to 30x. Okay, hold on. Now at this point, if it comes back to the entry point, I usually close my trade 50%. So let's see how it goes here. And if, yep, uh, once it gets 1.5, once I get like 1.5%, which is around $1,500, I'm gonna exit. All right, yep, right here, I will exit. Now it doesn't matter if candle goes up wherever. The reason that I exited early was that although the resistance on 15-minute was right here, but if you see at 1 hour, the resistance was here, so was on 30 minutes, somewhere around here. So like, I don't want to take risks, especially on Mondays and Tuesdays. So that's why my priority is to exit as soon as possible. So on this backtesting session, I made around 4.8%, which obviously I did not make in real-time conditions. If you see my short videos, I made around 3.6% last week, which is still okay. Okay, so let's move this forward. Let's go to 30 minutes. Okay, back. Now it's kind of consolidating, although it's start of New York Open, but it's sort of in a consolidation now. Okay, so I need to tell you one more thing that I was looking at the charts and I realized that in real-time conditions I missed this trade, and part of the reason was because there was a resistance right here, so I was not comfortable taking a trade. So now looking back at the charts, I realized that had I been given the opportunity like this again, I might not would have entered on this one as well, because like I personally believe that these trades are a bit risky since like there are a lot of resistance levels and I'm not really sure on which resistance level the price might retrace. So there's no point of me taking a risky setup, especially when you've made profits for the day. Okay, now moving forward, as I said, candle went up. Oh, the only thing that that someone could have taken buy would have been that once the 15-minute closed above all resistance levels, then they could have taken a buy. But I'm not confident with this one, so let's just move forward. All right, so now this is New York Stock Exchange open. Yep, so nothing. Let's just go to day three, which is Wednesday, same time, right here. Perfect. Let's just fix the resistance and the support levels. On 1 hour, I could see resistance here and support somewhere around here. Let's see on the 30-minute. Yep, it's all good, but it's within a range, so I don't see any point of trading right now. But let's see how things go and if we get any sort of opportunity. All right, so nothing. All right, so now this is start of pre-London Open. The 30 minutes. Yep, nothing, nothing, and there's nothing going on. This is London Open. Price on the 30-minute did come down, but since there are so many wicks right here, and also there are quite a lot of support levels which you could see on the 30 minutes, so I'm not really comfortable in taking any sort of sells here. Although I remember, I think the price did go down, but I don't see any point of taking a trade right here. Okay, let's just move to pre-New York. All right. Let's just fix the support levels, which is right here. All right, still nothing. Yep, now this is the start of New York Open. Also, you need to read the candles as well. Like, this candle had a huge downside body, but this one has a very small bullish body. So I'm not really sure. Like this candle, it itself states that there's an indecision in the market. So you're not really sure whether the candle's gonna next candle's gonna go up or it's gonna come down. But like, let's see how things go. But at this point, any sort of trade is a risky setup. So there's no point of taking a risky trade here, especially when you've made like you're up 4.8% for the day. So, and also I remember at this time they was CPI, if I'm not wrong. Let's see if there's any. Yep, CPI was right here. All right, let's move this forward. Okay, so in real time conditions, I did take a trade right here, and I did had a stop loss for this trade. The reason for entering in this trade was that since if you move the stop loss, sorry, if you move the resistance level somewhere around here, you could see that it came down, and like since it was consolidating the whole day, and also it was a downtrend. So I saw that this candle is a huge 30-minute candle. So if the candle wakes up and comes down, there's a huge possibility that candle could come down, and I could get some profits out of it. So initially it came down and then it came up. So my plan was that once it breaks its own low, I will execute on this one. And also like on the 1 hour, this was a huge downside candle, huge bearish candle. So all the indicators were saying that there is room for a sell. But unfortunately, like there's no trader in the world who could secure 100% win rate, and like everyone does some sort of mistake. And I think uh, I I had a loss on this one. So as it came down somewhere around right around here, I got in with a sell, and my stop loss was somewhere around here. If I'm not wrong, yeah, somewhere around here. All right, accept. And my plan was that since it did come down, but in case if it came back up to somewhere around here, I will close my 50%, and if it comes back here, I'll close my whole trade, so that I should protect the profit for the week. somewhere around here. I closed 50%, closed partial 50%, and right here I closed my whole trade. That's exactly what I did. If you look at the short videos as well, I executed just like this in order to preserve my profits, and this is the risk management that I do while executing a trade. Anyways, this went up. So I remember now this was New York Stock Exchange open, so I believe that with volume it might come down. And even if you look at this 1 hour candle, you'll see that price were creating huge wicks and then they were coming down. So I believe that I could secure my some portion of my profit right here, especially that I've lost some sort of amount in the market. So what I did was that once the price came right at the level where I took the sell, I executed with one more sell and I gave my trade a second chance with the hope that this time it might come down. And I did actually get some sort of like I got some sort of profit back, but it was just okay because then I entered with a relatively smaller lot size because it wasn't, I think, whatever the amount was, it wasn't that much. I went in with a smaller lot, so that's what exactly I'm gonna do, because since I entered, usually on this trade I'm taking 1.5%, but if I've already lost a portion of my trade, I don't want to lose a second trade as well. So in order to secure the profits that I've already made for the day, I reduce my risk. Let's just fast forward this one. And right around here, I took a sell. Sorry, I need to reduce the risk. Let's take 1%. Stop loss somewhere around here, around 100 pips within the range. Accept it. And my take profit would be around here. Right here. Yep. So probably, by doing so, my risk was all the 1%, but at the same time, I believe that if the candle came up, I might would have closed 50% in order to protect my risk. But at this point, I would have exited since it is close to the support, which is right here. So it's better to exit now. Yep, although it did go down, but still, I don't mind since I recovered like some portion of my profit. And the last trade that I took on this day, which was also evident in the short videos as well, was taking a buy right here. Now the resistance level was around right here. So like I had a good range of around 80, 90 pips. So I thought that, since 1 hour created a support and the 30-minute created a huge wick to the downside and a very small bearish candle. So I thought the moment it broke this high, I might get into another trade. And that's exactly what I did. But I entered with a very small risk. I think that then it was like $200, if I'm not wrong. Yep. Now it's like 1 minute, 30 seconds. I would have gotten, I got into buy right here. Stop loss was somewhere around here. And take profit was around here. So let's see how it goes. Now, if the candle comes back to wait, right now. Now, if the candle comes back to the entry price, I might close my 50% of the trade. and the moment it's going to touch the yellow line, I would exit and take profit. Yep, somewhere around here. Exited. I think I did recover most of my losses on this day, and I was kind of on break even, and that's how I executed the trade and the reason for me to execute those trades. Now moving forward, I think I was done for Wednesday, going to Thursday. Let's go to 1 hour. All right, now let's just fix the support. Resistance is right around here, support is here. I missed this trade like for whatever reason, but like if I was on the charts and I saw the candle moving up, I would have taken a trade because on the 1 hour it did create, although one could argue that it was kind of consolidating since it was printing green, red, green, red, green, but at the same time, like it was Asian session, and now we were going into pre-London, and with the pre-London, like huge volume comes into the market, and it pushes the price in one direction. So, like one could argue that it could have been a good buy, and especially like quite a lot. There were quite a lot of resistance levels right here, and price did go up. So there's a possibility that price might move up, and it actually did, as far as I remember. Yep, right here. All right, nevertheless. Also, yeah, I would have not taken a buy right here because now the reason to take a entry here was that since on the 1 hour, like as I already explained, that it was a good opportunity for a buy right here, but I don't see any opportunity for buy at this point because the candle moved up. Like this was first, second, third, fourth, fifth candle that moved green, and also it was right on resistance level. And the last thing was that this candle was a bigger candle and this was relatively smaller candle, so the volume towards the upside was losing, so there was less probability to go up, although it did go up, but still as of my analysis, I would have not entered in a buy right here. All right, so now this is London Open. All right, now we have moved into pre-New York. Similar range, nothing. Nope. Yeah, the reason for not executing on the 30-minute, although it did close uh, behind this uh, support, is that on the 1 hour there was still some sort of support right here, and the 1 hour candle did not close. So the price might go down, but like I wasn't sure with this one. Yep, it came back in the range. So there was literally nothing happening at this point. Fixing the support and the resistance levels. It's all good. All right. Yep, it did go down. Came back up. Now this is this is New York Stock Exchange open, and there's no direction. Candles are printing like a barcode, so they're kind of consolidating, and there's no clear direction whether the candle's gonna go up or down. So I'm not really sure with this one as well. Right. Well, perfect. So now the price tried going up, but since there was huge bearish volume, the price couldn't go up and created very small bullish candle. So now there was a good possibility to take a sell right here, and we had a range of around 80 pips. So like I thought that it would be good idea to take a sell once the candle breaks the low of this candle after 1 minute. So this was the first minute and price went up. And then now I thought that, if the candle breaks again, I would be entering into a sell right around here. Sell, stop loss around somewhere around here, 70 pips. And now let's just see how things go. So now my risk management plan was that if price came back to this level, I would close 50%, and then at this point I would close my whole trade. But now that the price moved here, now the risk management plan was changed. Now I thought that, if the price came back to the entry point, I'll close 50%, and if price uh, came to this upper wick, I would close my whole entry. And that is exactly what I did. Once the like if you look at the short videos as well, you'll see that I closed 50% of my trade right around here, because price touched uh, the entry point and I had to manage my risk. And then I realized that, if it came back right here, I'll close my whole trade to protect the profits that I've made in the previous 3 days. All right, perfect. At this point, I would have closed my trade, and that's exactly what I did. Yep, perfect. Now, I would not have entered on this trade because of the reason that there was quite a lot of support, like there was strong support right here. So I don't see any point, like, entering at this point, when because there was no range uh, right here, like it was 30 40 pips. So I don't see any point of taking a sell right around here. But like if someone took it, good on them, but it wasn't my cup of tea. So now we were done for Thursday, moving to Friday right around here. Let's just fix the support and the resistance levels. Resistance will be somewhere around here, support somewhere around here, and perfect. So let's see how things go. Yep, probably someone could have taken a sell around here or maybe around here, but I wasn't comfortable with it. Also, on usually on Fridays, I reduce my risk, because since I've already made, like, on here I've made 5.5%, so I won't be risking more than 1%. So I make sure that, I need to protect my profits, especially when it's end of the week. So now, all right, perfect. Yep. Someone could argue that, this is exactly the same candle that was made on Thursday, where we entered in a cell right here, and it could be the same thing, but at the same time, like, uh, I wouldn't be entering on this 30-minute candle. One, that because the 1 hour candle closed with a weak bearish candle, and here it was a huge bearish candle. So there are few differences that you need to keep in mind. So these are like few indicators that you get, and it would help you stay longer in the market. But even if it went down, like, it's not my thing. And also, one of the reasons that I did not execute on this one was because the candle did not create an upper wick. Had it created an upper wick, things would have been different. All right, perfect. It did go down. The same concept that we used on Thursday did go down. The only difference was that the upper wick wasn't created, so that's why I did not execute the trade on this one. And it did come back up as well. All right, let's just fix the support levels. All right, let's just move to pre New York Open. All right, now perfect. Now looking at this 1 hour, I thought that, the moment the 1 hour candle would break this high, I would execute my trade, and there was this huge range, and I realized that, I could capitalize something out of it, and I would take my profits for the day. However, I got lucky for a reason that I will share with you right now. I kept waiting, like, let's just move this forward, and it did not break. And I realized that, in the last 30 minutes, it might break, and I could take a good buy right here. And like, unfortunately, it happened, but it happened in the last 3 minutes, and I realized that there's no point of taking a trade in the last 3 minutes since it was about to, like, the New York Open was right there. So I realized that it's better to execute on New York Open instead of waiting on this candle. But like, I missed this trade, and like, that's okay, because like, a lot of times you would like lose trades and you don't find the opportunity to execute the trade. So like, there could be a number of reasons, but like, the reason for this backtesting is that you learn from these mistakes and you make sure that they don't happen in real markets. It still did not break the high of this one, which was actually the high of the 1 hour candle, as you could see right here. So 10 minutes to go, still nothing. Now at this point, I thought that, there's no point of taking a buy now since it's last 5 minutes of the hourly candle. So I should wait for the new candle. And on the last 3 minutes, right here, the candle went right up like this, which was pretty unfortunate since I was not a part of this trade. And I thought that, my analysis was right on point, but still, like, I couldn't execute on this trade, but it's okay. Anyways, price did go up, and then it created a resistance right around here. So the same concept, the reason that I wanted to take a buy, because on the 1 hour it was like, making lower low higher highs, and I thought that, it would be right thing to take a buy right here. The same concept happened here when now it's making lower lows. So then now I realized that, on the 30 minutes the volume for going up was dying, because this was a huge candle, this was relatively small candle, this was even smaller candle, and then it created a resistance right here. So on New York Stock Exchange Open, I thought that, since there's a lot of range down here, there's a good possibility to take a sell, and that's exactly what I did, but I reduced my risk. So let me just bring my support level somewhere around here. All right, perfect. Now usually, as you all know, that I don't execute on the first minute. I waited, and then I executed on the break of this right here. Stop loss was around 65 pips if I'm not wrong, somewhere around here. Now here my risk management plan was that if price came back to this open point, I would close 50% and the rest of the 50% would hit the stop loss. But it did not happen that way, and it did go down. Somewhere around here, I think I closed my whole position because I realized that, it's better to exit now, and that's exactly what I did. You could see in the short videos as well that I shared on my YouTube channel. So as you could see that, it was the right thing to do, although it did go a bit down, but at the same time, I was happy with the profits that I made for the week. Here it's 6.3%, but I think it was almost half, around 3.6% that I actually made, which is still okay. Another sell could have been around here because then there was this relatively good amount of support here around 120 pips. But since I was done for the week, so I did not execute on any of the trades. And this is the end of the simulation session.